had to see it.
To be shot forward in my recovery, absolutely. Like I experienced, a new drug, first of all, because when I sold that to the cop, I wasn't using, I was doing something for a friend, and it turned out that he was working, with the narc squad or whatever. But that time in jail, like that time in prison, like I extracted what I could from that. You know what I mean? I mean, like that was a new life in itself. Like when I got out, like life happened, like life went by. And it's like now, like there's new music on the radio, like there's new cell phones out, you know what I mean? And people are now wearing skinny jeans, and it's like, what the heck is that? You know what I mean? And it's like, but like the people that actually allowed me to have this platform, I love them to death. I love the whole organization because it gave me the chance to really shine in my recovery. It gave me the chance to really explore what I could really do and how I could really help. And at the end of the day, like, I'm so grateful for the opportunity because, like, who doesn't like helping people live better? Who doesn't like really helping people on their journey? And I'm glad that they chose me to be a part of their journey because, I mean, the only reason I would lose contact with them is if they stopped calling me. Like I follow them through their aftercare, make sure they're doing good. What's happening right now is a little bit difficult because I do have people that I make sure they're okay every day. And then I have my recoveries that I deal with as well, and I love talking to all of them, but I don't know what to say sometimes because they're on the waiting list and I don't know how long it's going to take, but I make sure every morning I make 6 phone calls first thing in the morning, check in with them, make sure they're good. Do you need anything? Yep, I'll stop by and chat with you next week. In the meantime, call me, and I make sure that they know that I am my own resource, that I'm able to help them in the interim until we get them in. And there are some people who just don't answer the phone. And it's like, what can you do? Like I feel bad, right? But one of the things that, and I'm sure you can attest to this, is everybody's responsible for their own recovery. Mm-hmm. I can only do so much, and that's another thing that I was taught by this organization is they're responsible for their own path. You just walk with them. Like, you're not going to throw them over your shoulder. You're not going to drag them. If they stop walking, you stop walking, and sometimes it hurts because you do get attached to people, It's called transference. It's what doctors try not to have done because you get attached to them, and then when something happens, you kind of feel it on a different level, rather than just be like, well, we'll get you back on track. Like, I connect with everybody I bring in my office. I treat them like family because I remembered how it was when I went to treatment and how they treated me. Like, I was called by my name. Everybody in the office knew my name by the end of the month. And it was, hey, Eric, how you doing? Hey, you're looking good, man. I mean, and just these positive affirmations that just kept coming. Like, my office is a comfy place. I've got things on the wall. I've got, a big wall clock. I make them comfortable because I know that they're uncomfortable. And I just want to, for a minute, just take them out of that and just let them feel what it's like. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because I care about them. Like, I love everybody. When I got clean, my feelings, my emotions became hyperactive. Like, it's almost like when I'm talking to someone, I can almost feel their pain. I can almost feel their sorrow. And it's like, there's some people's darkness that my light just can't shine in. And those are the ones that I try my best. I really do. But I only can do so much. And it's about them. It's about their journey, And sometimes the first pathway don't work, but we try another one. I mean, that's the blessed thing about multiple pathways. I mean, there's so many different kinds of treatment out there right now. And when I got clean, like, I had no idea that my insurance covered it. Like, I thought it was just for rich people. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, well, that guy's going to La La Land, to get clean. And I got to sit here and lay in my bed sweating and, But once I realized that my insurance covered it, I mean, I was gung-ho about it. Like, and they're strict with you. Like, I remember I got my teeth pulled. My back teeth had to come out. And they gave me like 6 Norcos, right? And I took 2 of them, and I brought them there the next day. I said, listen, they gave me 6. I took 2. And they're so strict there, they made me drop in a cup when I told them, and they took away my take-homes. And I go, wait a minute, I was honest with you. They said, the methadone that you're on is the dominant drug. Nothing will ever make you feel better than that. And it's like, but I have this doctor telling me this. And they go, listen, this is about life or death. You're on a pain medication right now prescribed by a doctor. You don't need anything else. And it was then that I really started to be like, okay, like this is really serious. I mean, I wasn't trying to be defiant or anything. I literally thought it was okay. And it wasn't. And it kept me on my path. Like my recovery coach that they assigned to me, he was very strict. Like he didn't have a problem telling you like it was. And if you had a problem with it, that was your fault. Like he told it to me like it was. And although at the time we didn't vibe very well, but it's what I needed to straighten myself out. So I started to mimic some of what he did, and it started to work. And I'm like, wait a minute, like this guy's really talking some truth here, And like we would get into conversations, and then we'd get into little arguments because I didn't like how he was talking to me. He said, too bad. He said, this is how it has to be right now. You're fighting for your life, and if you don't realize that, then that's your problem. And he was right. Like he had to be strict because I am a person that will, the box is a box, but it does have flexible sides, and I'll push on them just to see how far I can push until I bust out. Where now it's like, okay, the box is just a box, life is a lot easier when you follow the rules, so, but, yeah, like I really just want, if somebody's listening to this and, they don't know if they can do it, like, I know you can do it. Like, I know you can. You may not know that yet, but get with the right people. Like, find me, like, I'll leave Corey my information. Get a hold of him. I will help you. I don't care who your past was. I don't care what you've done. I look at you for what you're going to do, the people you're going to encounter, and the life you're going to have. And I love you. If you need to hear that, I do, because you're part of the family. Addiction has its own family. There's around 24 million people in active addiction. There's around 25 million people in recovery. That's a big family, and whether you like it or not, you're a part of it. So, come out and find me. I don't mind chatting with you. Like even if you just need a pep talk, I can do that,
What are some things you would advise people to do, say, if they're waiting for treatment? Say you get a call and someone's like, hey, I called the treatment center. They said next month to give them a call, middle of October. I need help now. What do I do? Do you just tell them, hey, let's go hit a meeting? Do you say talk to a therapist? Or
That's an excellent question. I've actually encountered that recently. The first thing I do is I'm in contact with them every single day, sometimes twice a day, depending on how busy I am, because that positive contact removes them a little bit from their thoughts. You know what I mean? They know somebody out there loves them. They know somebody out there cares, because you can attest to this. When you're in addiction, you're isolated. You feel like nobody understands you. You feel like everybody's going to know and they're going to judge you. And that's just not the case, The waiting period is tough. If they want to go to a meeting, like I'll give them Zoom meetings so they don't want to leave their house. That's the great thing about Zoom. Is like some of these individuals, they don't have licenses, they don't have cars, but Zoom can bring them into a meeting. Now, granted, it's not the same as a regular meeting because you get to feel the emotion in the room. You feed off of that. These people, and like I need a hug every now and then, Zoom doesn't do hugs. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. If I can, I will. But then like sometimes like I will take them to a meeting, But overall, that contact every single day, I feel like makes the biggest difference. And however long they need me to talk to them, that's how long we talk. Some people are like, yeah, I'm okay and don't really want to talk. And I'm like, all right, well, if you feel the urge to do something, just promise me you'll call me first. Just give me 10 minutes of your time, And most of them do, because they know that I care. And there are times where I'll answer my phone late at night. Now, what I found is the late night phone calls lead to early morning phone calls that they don't remember. Mm-hmm. So the hardest part and the boundaries I had to learn was to understand that I'm a person in recovery too. So I had to have firm boundaries. And doing what we do, your boundaries need to be solid because everybody needs help. But we're not here to save everybody. It's one person at a time, and we're nobody's savior. We're not Superman. We just figured it out a little bit sooner, and we're sharing that information, Like, we are the same as these individuals. And I told them, I go, you're no different than me. We have the same, thought process. We have the same addictive traits, and I understand that. I may not understand the drug or alcohol that they've used, but I understand addiction, and I'm ever growing in recovery. The more classes I take, the more useful I am to somebody. The more, like things like this, when I get to actually have a platform to speak out, the more that people will know about us, that we are here to help. Just reach out. There's no shame. There's no blame. You are a person and you're sick. The American Medical Association labeled addiction a disease because it literally reroutes the brain function to fight or flight. It removes pride and happiness and love. And in its place, it puts shame and guilt and pain. Like, if you don't feed your body what it wants, it will punish you. And I know how that feels and the fear that comes with that. Because I fear, like, I'm getting goosebumps again because the fear when you had to count your pills. Okay, I've only got 17 left. Okay, so that's going to give me to like half a day tomorrow. Oh my God, it's coming. And you can't stop it. Like, it is coming. Like someone's kicking in your door and it's going to hurt you. That's what it feels like. And the hardest part for me was never knowing when it was going to end. Like, sometimes I would make it 7 days and I would still feel it. And it's like, is this how I'm going to feel forever? And you're not going to feel that way forever. There is a more comfortable way to tackle this, but more so, you need people on your team. Mm-hmm. You can't do it by yourself. And the more you try and the more you fail, the more your mind beats you down. I mean, come to me in pieces and I'll help you put it back together. Like, I may not be able to make the whole picture form, but I can connect you with people that will give you a brand new life better than you ever thought.
And it takes time.
It does.
Some people, they want to jump right in and, hey, no, I got this right away. And, that's great. Some people do. Yeah. But
it's the pink cloud.
It takes time. You're teaching yourself how to live a completely different life. It takes time.
Absolutely.
And if you get it right the first time, man, that's awesome. You're perfect. Not a lot of people are.
Right.
And you said earlier, there's no blame. I kind of felt like a little bit of little something from my friend's girlfriend. She kind of reached out. It's kind of like she was passing the torch, like, here, it's your turn. Yeah. And I kind of told her that
that's not how it works.
I don't play that game.
Right.
And he called me his sponsor, and I was like, okay. And then he calls me to say, well, why didn't you call me to stop me from drinking? And I told him that's not how that works, man.
Right. You have to be accountable to yourself, and that's how we help you do that. Like it's not a failure. Like, you just learn what doesn't work, and then we move on. It's like a batter, like when they're in Little League, they have to learn how to stand and hold the bat, right? But they never really hit the ball. And then you get on the JV squad, and you're learning how to hit the ball, but your stance has to shift again, and how you hold the bat has to shift. And then you get in a varsity, and then you're starting to hit the ball, right? And then if you play in college, they teach you a whole new way to attack baseball. That's where we come in. We teach you a different way to help you with addiction. And sometimes they just need somebody to believe in them because no one is around. And that's how I felt. Like, once I had my treatment center believe in me, I wanted to believe in me too because it felt so good, and I want everybody to experience how it feels to be clean because, no, every day is not sunshine and roses, But even on my worst day,